Rick Ness has faced a tough season on Gold Rush, struggling to keep his mining operation afloat amid setbacks and mounting pressure. However, recent episodes brought a glimmer of hope as Rick began to turn things around, thanks to a significant payday at Rally Valley. The breakthrough couldn't have come at a better time, as Rick desperately needed a win to keep his crew motivated and his operation alive. In episodes 8 and 9, Rick's determination paid off after 3 grueling days of slicing through Rally Valley. His perseverance uncovered a rich gold deposit, pushing him closer to his ambitious goal of 1,500 ounces for the season. Adding over 300 ounces to his total haul, Rick now finds himself within reach of a much-needed turnaround. The Rally Valley cut has proven to be one of Rick's best claims this season. His crew dug an impressive 160 feet into the cut, battling water infiltration that threatened to shut down operations. As water levels rose, Rick and his crew took swift action, moving their working pump to drain the cut and prevent a disaster. With their trusty 700 excavator and monster red wash plant working at full capacity, the crew processed 181.87 ounces of gold from Rally Valley, worth a staggering $454,000. This haul represents a significant step forward for Rick, who has been under immense pressure to turn a profit and keep his business running. The Rally Valley success gave Rick and his crew a much-needed morale boost, proving that their hard work is starting to pay off. However, while the gold from Rally Valley is promising, Rick still has a looming challenge that could threaten everything he's worked for. After 3 grueling years of relentless effort and determination, Rick Ness and his loyal crew gathered at Rally Valley for a historic moment, the final gold weigh-in of the season. This wasn't just any weigh-in, it marked the culmination of 3 years of blood, sweat, and tears. The crew's excitement was palpable as they prepared to see the fruits of their labor. Would their hard work pay off? The numbers would soon reveal everything. As the crew gathered around the familiar gold scale, Rick set the tone with a lighthearted joke. "What's up, guys? Anyone got a beer for me?" he quipped, easing the tension of the moment. Holding a beer in one hand, Rick stood at the scale with his characteristic grin, ready to make history. The Rally Valley claim had been a challenging yet rewarding endeavor. Over 3 mining seasons, the ground had yielded more than $4.5 million worth of gold. Now, Rick and his team were hoping to add a substantial amount to that total with one final cleanup. With anticipation building, Rick called out to his trusted right-hand man, Ryan Hofer. "Ryan, you gonna help me count?" "Yeah, let's do it," Ryan replied, stepping up to assist with the monumental task. Rick grabbed the first batch of gold, carefully placing it on the scale. The numbers climbed steadily. "We've got 100 ounces right here," Rick announced. Then, he added a second batch of gold to the scale. "And we've got another 200 ounces here." The initial count totaled 300 ounces. "That's a good start," Rick said with a satisfied smile. The crew nodded in agreement, knowing that they were off to a promising beginning. Breaking records, the quest for 350 ounces. Rick's all-time gold record from a single cleanup was 350 ounces, a benchmark he was determined to surpass. As they continued the count, the tension in the room grew. "Let's see what's in this next batch," Rick said as he added more gold to the scale. Ryan, sensing the significance of the moment, asked, "Are you ready?" "Yep, let's do this," Rick replied, bracing himself. The numbers on the scale climbed rapidly. 50 ounces. 100 ounces. 150 ounces. 200 ounces. 300 ounces. As the scale crept closer to the 350-ounce mark, the excitement in the air was undeniable. Finally, the numbers stopped at 392 ounces. "That's 392 ounces!" Rick exclaimed, throwing his hands in the air. "Woo! Nice!" The crew erupted in cheers, celebrating the massive cleanup. But Rick wasn't done yet. He had a surprise up his sleeve. You know what's funny? Rick teased, grinning mischievously. That's not even it. The crew looked at him in confusion. What do you mean? Rick gestured for them to follow him. Come up here and take a look at this, he said with a grin, leading them to another stash of gold. Are you ready for this? Check this out, Rick said as he placed the hidden stash on the scale. The numbers on the scale climbed once more, surpassing 400 ounces. That's another 432 ounces. Rick announced. The crew was stunned. Geez, Louise, one of them exclaimed, struggling to process the massive haul. With both weigh-ins combined, the total haul from Raleigh Valley stood at a staggering 929.7 ounces, worth just over $2.3 million. It was Rick Ness's biggest gold weigh-in ever. That's Rick's biggest gold weigh-in ever, Ryan said, clearly impressed by the historic moment. For Rick, this moment wasn't just about the gold. It marked a significant turning point in his mining career, a testament to perseverance and resilience. This is the highlight of my 13 years of mining, Rick said, his voice filled with emotion. And the fact that we did it with just 7 of us. I can't thank you guys enough. The crew stood in silence, taking in the gravity of Rick's words. They understood the immense challenges they had faced together and the incredible success they had achieved as a team. This is why we come up here, Rick continued. When we put up numbers like this, we all go home real happy. Rick's gratitude was evident. I feel very thankful for you guys, he said, his voice thick with emotion. The crew responded with heartfelt support. We love you, man, one of them said, encapsulating the camaraderie and mutual respect that had developed over the years. Rick took a moment to reflect on his journey over the past few years. The last 2 years have really been a game changer for me, he said. 3 years ago, I might as well have been out of this business. I really was. It hadn't been an easy road. Rick had faced financial struggles, tough seasons, and personal hardships. But with the right people by his side, he had made an incredible comeback. To come back and to come back with the right people, that's what's been important, Rick emphasized. His crew, clearly moved by Rick's words, responded with heartfelt appreciation. We love you, Rick, one of them said sincerely. Rick nodded. I love you guys too. After the celebrations, Rick turned his attention to the future of Raleigh Valley. After seeing what Raleigh Valley had to offer, you can see it right there in the pan, he said, pointing to the gold they had just weighed. There ain't no lying about that. The gold-rich channel they had mined stretched for miles across the valley. Rick was confident that the claims still had untapped potential. Knowing that the channel goes on for miles on this ground. I think that's our future, he said. However, Rick acknowledged that the road ahead wouldn't be without challenges. If we have a future here, it's going to depend on the water licenses, he explained. We're going to face some hurdles, I'm telling you right now. Despite the challenges, Rick's determination remained unshaken. But as long as we're willing to go after it, we've got it. The gold is there. As the crew wrapped up their final weigh-in, there was a sense of pride and accomplishment in the air. Raleigh Valley had delivered in a big way, and Rick Ness had proven that he was still a force to be reckoned with in the mining world. With 929.7 ounces of gold and over $2.3 million in total value, it was a season that none of them would ever forget. For Rick, it wasn't just about the gold, it was about the journey, the people, and the comeback story that had defined his career. We've done something special here, Rick said with a smile. And I wouldn't want to do it with anyone else but you guys. The crew raised their beers in a toast to Raleigh Valley and to whatever the future holds. Together, they had achieved something truly extraordinary. Despite the success at Raleigh Valley, Rick remains deeply concerned about securing a water license for his Duncan Creek claim. The Yukon Water Board has twice rejected his application, citing concerns that his mining plans are unrealistic and unsustainable. Without this permit, Rick risks losing everything he's invested in Duncan Creek, which could devastate his entire operation. The original water license for Duncan Creek, issued to the claim's previous owners, is set to expire on April 8, 2025. With just 3 months left to secure a renewal, Rick is racing against time to address the board's concerns and prove that his plans are feasible. Rick has poured a significant amount of money and resources into Duncan Creek, hoping to make it one of his primary claims. The rejection of his permit has put all that investment at risk. Despite the setbacks, Rick remains hopeful that he can turn things around. He knows that to keep his operation alive, he needs to make changes that will satisfy the Yukon Water Board and demonstrate that he can responsibly mine the claim. What's at stake for Rick Ness? The stakes couldn't be higher for Rick Ness. If he fails to secure the water license for Duncan Creek, he stands to lose not just the claim, but potentially his entire mining business. With Raleigh Valley delivering promising results, Rick's season is showing signs of improvement, but the shadow of Duncan Creek looms large over his future. Rick's challenges this season highlight the harsh realities of gold mining in the Yukon. From battling natural elements to navigating government regulations, every step is a fight to keep operations going. For Rick, the battle at Duncan Creek is the next big hurdle he must overcome to ensure his long-term success. A race against time. As Rick and his crew celebrate their Raleigh Valley success, the clock is ticking on Duncan Creek. The Yukon Water Board's concerns must be addressed before the April 8 deadline, or Rick could be forced to abandon the claim entirely. Rick Ness is no stranger to adversity. He's faced tough seasons before and always found a way to bounce back. But this time, the stakes feel higher than ever. With his mining career on the line, Rick must navigate the delicate balance between success at Raleigh Valley and saving Duncan Creek. For now, Raleigh Valley has given Rick some breathing room and hope for the future. But whether or not he can secure the water license for Duncan Creek will ultimately determine the fate of his operation and his career as a gold miner.